Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm your host, Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Week 4 of the NFL season is in the books, and there were a lot of big games. Let's see what my biggest takeaways were. The Bengals beat the Dolphins 27-15. And unfortunately, in this game, Tua Tagovailoa got knocked out of the game. Prayers for him. Hopefully, he can get back onto the field. But Teddy Bridgewater, he played decent in his absence, but it wasn't enough to get the win. Joe Burrow played fantastic. He had 2 touchdowns through the air. Now the Bengals are 2-2, and the Dolphins, they lose their first game, and now they're 3-1. Now on Sunday morning in London, you had the Minnesota Vikings. They beat the New Orleans Saints 28-25. Kirk Cousins, he played good. He had 273 yards and a touchdown and a pick. And Andy Dalton for the Saints at 236 yards and a touchdown because Jameis Winston was out. So now the Vikings are 3-1 and the Saints are 1-3. The Seahawks beat the Lions 48-45 in an offensive explosion. The Seahawks are now 2-2 and the Lions are 1-3. A 48-45 game is always crazy in the NFL. Geno Smith had 2 touchdowns through the air. He's playing well since Russell Wilson's gone. And Jared Goff had 378 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 pick. But unfortunately, the Lions still lose. But they do look like a better team. And the Lions, they fall to 1-3, and the Seahawks are 2-2, like I said. But I do think the Lions are much better than they were in the past. The New York Jets 24, the Pittsburgh Steelers 20. The Jets are 2-2 now, and the Steelers are 1-3. Zach Wilson had 252 yards, touchdown, and 2 picks in his first game back since he was hurt in the preseason. And Kenny Pickett, in his first game that he played in, he had 120 yards and 3 picks, so he's going to have to play a lot better in the future if the Steelers are going to win. The New York Giants 20, the Chicago Bears 12. Giants are 3-1 and the Bears are 2-2. Justin Fields only had 174 yards through the air, no touchdowns. And Daniel Jones only had 71 yards, but he had 2 rushing touchdowns on the ground, and Saquon Barkley had a good game. So the Giants are looking a lot better. Tennessee Titans 24, Indianapolis Colts 17. Titans are 2-2. The Colts are 1-2-1. Ryan Tannehill had 2 touchdowns. He's playing pretty well, and obviously Derrick Henry is a beast as always. Had a touchdown on the ground and over 100 yards. And Matt Ryan had 356 yards for the Colts and 2 touchdowns, but it wasn't enough to get the win. The Chargers beat the Texans 34-24. They're 2-2 now, the Chargers, and the Texans are 0-3-1. Justin Herbert had 340 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Davis Mills on the Texans side had 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks, but the Chargers are now back to 500. The Atlanta Falcons 23 and the Cleveland Browns 20. Both these teams are 2-2. Jacoby Brissett had 234 yards and a pick, and Marcus Mariota had 139 yards and a pick, so the Falcons did get the win, but neither team was too impressive. The Dallas Cowboys 25, the Washington Commanders 10. The Cowboys are 3-1, and the Commanders are 1-3. Carson Wentz had a touchdown and 2 picks, and Cooper Rush had 223 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's filling in very good for Dak, and he could definitely be the best backup quarterback in the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles 29 and the Jacksonville Jaguars 21. The Eagles are 4-0. And the Jaguars are 2-2. Trevor Lawrence had 174 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Jaguars. And Jalen Hurts had 204 yards and a pick. But again, the Philadelphia Eagles are playing much better, and they are 4-0, and they're looking really good. You have the Ravens 20 and the Bills 23. So the Bills beat the Ravens 23-20, and unfortunately it was another game, and I say the Ravens first because they were winning the whole game and they gave the game away again, just like they did against the Dolphins. Lamar Jackson had 144 yards and a touchdown and 2 picks. And yeah, Josh Allen had 213 yards, a touchdown, and a pick, but the Bills came back and beat the Ravens. So now the Ravens are 2-2 and the Bills are 3-1. So now you have the Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals 26, Carolina Panthers 16. The Cardinals are 2-2 and the Panthers are 1-3. Kyler Murray had 207 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And the Panthers 197 yards, touchdown, and 2 picks for Baker Mayfield. Unfortunately, the Panthers, they gave away all 3 of their losses. They could be 4-0 if they had played just a little bit better. They're 1-3, and the Arizona Cardinals are 2-2. The Denver Broncos, they lost to the Raiders 32-23. Russell Wilson, 237 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Derek Carr had 188 yards, but the Raiders did a much better on defense than the Broncos did. So now the Raiders win their first game of the season. They're now 1-3, and the Broncos are 2-2, as I said. Now you had the Green Bay Packers 27 and the New England Patriots 24 in overtime. This was a game that Bailey Zappi had to play in because Brian Hoyer went down, and obviously Matt Jones is out. He had 99 yards and a touchdown. Zappi did, but the Packers, Rodgers had 251 yards, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers playing very well, and the Packers, they won over the New England Patriots. The Packers are now 3-1 after losing their first game of the season. The Patriots are 1-3. You had the Kansas City Chiefs 41, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31. Chiefs are 3-1. The Buccaneers are 2-2. Patrick Mahomes at 249 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. He played fantastic, and Tom Brady played fantastic. 385 yards and 3 touchdowns. This is a game that the Bucs, their defense just couldn't stop anybody. Last week the offense wasn't doing too good, and the defense was. But in this game, the offense played great, but the defense just could not stop Patrick Mahomes. And like I said, the Bucs are now 2-2, and the Chiefs are 3-1. And on Monday Night Football, the San Francisco 49ers won over the Los Angeles Rams 24-9. Both these teams are 2-2. Matthew Stafford, 254 yards and a pick. And on the 49ers side, Jimmy G, 239 yards and a touchdown. And again, Jimmy G, he needs to be the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers because he is playing very well, and Trey Lance is going to have his day in the future. So again, a lot of crazy results in the NFL. Again, a lot of teams, again, even though the Dolphins lost because, Tua was out, but in that game. But you have a lot of teams like the Dolphins, and you have the Eagles are playing really well, and even the Lions, again, looking a lot better. And you have the Bucs struggling, but I think they're going to get it figured out. But a lot of teams, a lot of crazy results in the NFL. Comment down below what you think about all these games and what were the biggest surprise and results of Week 4. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below, and I will see you next time.